All right, good evening. Welcome to the Altamont Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting for October 28th, 2025. Time is now 7 p.m. Before we begin, just note the exits behind you and the one over my left shoulder. And if you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if the members of the board could introduce themselves, starting over to my left.
Charles Stroud.
Lori Penzi.
Simon Litton.
James Sullivan.
Robert Freeman.
Andrea Witham. Elizabeth Laparco.
Thank you. All right. This meeting is a public hearing for the application for the special use permit requested by Ms. Lahoff for Star and Splendor LLC, a retail shop and espresso kiosk at 192-198 Main Street, Altamont, New York, tax map number 37.18-3-23. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
I will make that motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
So we have Robert is first and Simon is second. Okay, so roll call in alphabetical order. Board Member Freeman.
Approved.
Board Member Litton.
In favor.
Board Member Lapalco.
In favor.
Board Member Trout.
In favor.
Board Member Penzi.
In favor.
Alphabetical order, sorry. Board Member Witham. In favor. And Chairperson Sullivan.
In favor.
Thank you.
Before I invite any members of the public to speak, I just want to address a couple small changes to the original EAF form that was submitted. We did talk about the changes and they were confirmed. So number 12A was originally answered in the negative. Does the project site contain or is substantially contiguous to a building, archaeological site, or district which is listed in the National or State Registry of Historic Places, or that has been determined by the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Parks and Recreation and Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places. That was confirmed to be a yes. And then number 15, does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? Originally answered as no. We discussed last time it should be a yes because of the northern long-eared bat and the potential presence of the Indiana bat. And then number 16 is the project site located in the 100-year floodplain. Originally, it was listed as no, but it is, in fact, in the floodplain. None of those responses are substantive, and they don't change the outcome of this public hearing.
There's another one that we missed,
Okay.
number 20.
Let's see. Has the site of the proposed action or adjoining been subject to remediation, ongoing, completed hazardous waste?
There is, when you were informed that you had to fill this thing out, is that correct? Or did you know that?
No.
So you were informed that you had to fill it out?
Yeah, I was informed, I think just a day or two before the hearing.
Were you told about the DEC's EAF mapper?
No.
Somehow,
I didn't know that either, so I guess what we'll have to do is maybe add something to that form, that there's a DEC mapper that people can go to, or?
yes. What the mapper does is fill in those kinds of things that an applicant wouldn't know about.
Yeah,
There-
I just asked the landlord.
Yeah, there would be no way for you to know that. But the DEC has all these map layers, and when you go to the EAF mapper, it just checks those things that are applicable. Yeah, it's called the EAF mapper.
Okay. If you have something, you can send me just so I know we're setting up the right stuff and can't have.
Well, if you Google EAF mapper, it comes up.
Okay,
But again, an applicant wouldn't know that.
no.
And the reason that number 20 is a positive is that that means, well, the text says, has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been subject of remediation ongoing or completed for hazardous waste? The way it works is if there is a hazardous waste site within 2,000 feet of the site, that is considered adjacent. And the hazardous waste site in question was the Hayes House on Fairview. And that had, I think in the 19th century, a tiny little, I don't know, coal gas plant or something. So there's some minor levels of soil contamination. It's utterly irrelevant, but it's the sort of thing that an applicant wouldn't know, and the EAF mapper checks that.
Okay. Well, thank you for checking that. So item 20 should be listed as yes because of a property neighboring it that has a small amount of soil contamination. Again, none of that changes your application in a substantial way.
Would I need to fill out?
Nope, you don't have to fill out a new form. Now, I would invite any members of the public or the applicant herself to speak about the project.
Would anyone like me to speak?
Yes.
Yes, please. Thank you. Okay, do you have any specific questions?
No, just a general interest and a realization at this point that we probably should have been at a prior meeting or two to pick up the information that we were interested in. And therefore, a quick overview and just your own objectives and projections for the future, the near future, for what you're thinking about, would be appreciated.
Sure.
So before you start, sorry, I would absolutely invite you to share a little bit about your business, but a public hearing is not a question and answer period, okay? So you're under no obligation to answer specific questions. If any of the public have concerns, you're welcome to come up, or if you're in support of the project, you're welcome to come up, but it's not a question and answer period. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so they're familiar because they read the application, but essentially Star and Splendor has been a retail shop, a business that has been going for, this will be the 8th year. It started in Voorheesville, New York, so in a neighborhood not dissimilar to where it's going to be. In fact, here is going to be a little busier street and more commercial than where it was originally. I was there for 5 years, and then there were some sustained road closures and some difficulties with parking, and I grew, so I made the decision to move to a larger space in Troy, New York 2 years ago. And I haven't really enjoyed it, so I've been really missing the small town feel of the original shop. The shop carries, essentially it's like crystals, candles, really beautiful journals, art supplies, giftable items. A lot of it is locally made, handmade, or like curated by local people, put together. The new shop will have even more giftable items, as well as cards and decals and things that are really fun for like kids and teenagers to check out too, because crystals are always a big pull. And currently, anecdotally, I hear that we have one of the biggest selections in the capital region. So that's from Saratoga all the way to Hudson area, roughly. This shop is going to be a little bit smaller than the current one that I'm in. The current one, we do a lot of events, but since COVID, we've really been finding that that's dialing down. The types of events that we generally would do would be small classes, like 8 to 12 people, book signings. You know, occasionally we'll have an artist, like a night where we feature an artist where we have their art in the shop. Let's see, coaching groups, like we have a really great astrologer and people will get together and like map out their year with him. I do have someone local who's interested in doing coaching and consultations for Feng Shui out of the shop. So I'm sure we will have some local people who will present things through the shop and work out of it. There will be an area in the back which will have for a small class space and a space to do readings, coachings, things like that. So essentially it's a metaphysical shop, but it's really more strongly a gift shop. And we will have in this location a small coffee bar, like a kiosk essentially, where we're really focused on very good quality espresso drinks and some featured, like a rotational featured teas, like 3 or 4 at a time. We'll switch those out every 3 to 4 months. So yeah, I mean, essentially it will be, it has always been, in every place that it's been, a community gathering place. It's a place where people meet people with similar interests. It draws people from outside the area, right, because it's very much a destination shop. It lets people connect with people with similar interests in a very positive environment, right? So it's like not a place where we rant about everything that's wrong in the world, but really a place where we focus on things that we ourselves can do with ourselves, for ourselves, right? Like meditation, things like that. Yeah, again, I've been in business for 8 years. I hope to continue. I don't really have any aspiration to be like a big giant shop. I actually find that where I am right now is a little too big for me. I like to keep it small. I like to change my selection. I like to be able to be very creative and very whimsical. I like to be able to pivot and respond to what the community wants. I have a background in display design and fine art, so I always make the shop very warm and welcoming and also a very beautiful place. So a lot of people come in and say, this is my favorite shop because I come in and it's always so beautiful. I always see something that's really delightful. So even when they don't buy something, a lot of times people are kind of inspired, or they come there because it is a peaceful place where people are very open-minded and welcoming, essentially. So we hope to just continue doing that. And to do it here where I live, and I feel very invested in the community and also in the other businesses in the community, and want to get to know all of them better. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Then before we close, I should have read the notice before, but let me read the notice of public hearing. So this is the notice of public hearing before the Zoning Board of Appeals. Please take notice that the Village of Altamont Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on November 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Altamont Village Community Room, 115 Main Street, Altamont, New York, to hear all interested persons concerning a special use permit application submitted by Amy Lahoff, Star and Splendor LLC, for the operation of a retail store and espresso kiosk in a structure located at 196 Main Street, front right side of building, Village of Altamont, tax parcel number 37.18-3-23. Owner, 192, 198 Main Street LLC, Mark and Wendy Pollard, Zone CBD. Plans open for public inspection at the village office during normal business hours. A copy of the Zoning Board of Appeals agenda and related materials will be available on the village website by Friday, November 7th, 2025, at the village website. All people who desire to be heard regarding the special use permit application shall be heard either by attending the public hearing or by submitting written comments in advance of the public hearing to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Secretary. Ginger, did we receive any written comments? Okay. Last chance for any spoken comments? Going once? Going twice? Okay. Okay. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing then?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, so Charles is first and Buck is second. And roll call, Board Member Freeman,
In favor.
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
Board Member LaPapa,
In favor.
Board Member Pensy,
In favor.
Board Member Chow,
In favor?
Board Member Witham,
In favor.
and Chairperson Sullivan.
In favor.
Thank you.
Okay. Because of the shortened meeting time span between the last meeting, we haven't received back the Albany County Planning Board recommendations. Typically, that would be done before considering approving or disapproving a special use permit. But they have their meeting this week. If there are any issues that they recommend be addressed, we would have time, once we find that out, to take care of that at the next meeting. So is there any discussion from the board about approving this or disapproving it? Nothing?
Not here.
Okay. Then I would ask for a motion to approve the special use permit pending the Albany County Planning Board review.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
So Bob and who's second? Okay, roll call, Board Member Freeman,
In favor.
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
Board Member LaPapa,
In favor.
and Board Member Pensy,
In favor.
Board Member Chow,
In favor?
Board Member Witham,
In favor.
and Chairperson Sullivan.
In favor. We have a resolution to approve. I'll read that into the record. Altamont Zoning Board of Appeals resolution classifying, sorry, that was the wrong one. This one. Approving special use permit application. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals for the Village of Altamont, ZBA, received an application from Star and Splendor LLC, Amy Lahoff, collectively applicant, for special use permit approval for the operation of a retail store and espresso kiosk in a structure located at 192 Main Street. And whereas the proposed retail store will occupy an existing non-residential structure, and there are no exterior improvements to the building site proposed except new signage. And whereas the applicant submitted an application for special use permit to the ZBA on or around October 14th, 2025, the application, and whereas the reuse of an existing commercial structure or of a structure containing a mix of commercial or residential uses for a use that is permitted as a special use permit is a type 2 action exempt from review under SECRE. And whereas on October 28, 2025, the ZBA classified the action as a type 2 action under SECRE and scheduled a public hearing for November 18, 2025. And whereas the ZBA duly noticed and held the public hearing on November 18, 2025, and has considered the comments that were received. And whereas the application was referred to the Albany County Planning Board pursuant to New York General Municipal Law 239M. Now therefore be it resolved as follows by the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Altamont, Albany County, New York. 1, the application for special use permit is hereby granted subject to any conditions that are recommended by the Albany County Planning Board. And 2, the copy of this resolution shall be filed with the village clerk, and a report of final action shall be sent to the Albany County Planning Board. It is further resolved that the Village of Altamont ZBA hereby authorizes and requires the board chair, secretary, clerk, and/or village attorney to take appropriate steps to effectuate this resolution, including any filing and distribution requirements. Whereupon this resolution was declared adopted by the Village of Altamont Zoning Board of Appeals. The motion was moved by
Freeman,
Robert Freeman and seconded by Elizabeth Loparco. The vote was unanimous. I've compared the preceding copy with the original resolution on file in this office, adopted by the Village of Altamont Zoning Board of Appeals at a meeting held November 18th, 2025, and I do hereby certify that the same to be correct, transcript therefrom and of the whole of the original. I hereby certify the vote thereon was as follows. It was a unanimous vote.
Sorry, I'm hoarse. I'm not sick, I just wrote on the thing for what felt like from last week.
Moving on to other business. We received a sign application for the same applicant. Has everyone had a chance to look through that? The application seems to be complete and follows the regulations in our zoning. So barring any conversation, I would recommend that the zoning enforcement officer issue the permit.
I have one very minor question to the applicant, who I'm sure knows infinitely more about this than I do. But I see, I love your graphics, but you have in the second one, you have an Ouroboros, you have a snake. But isn't he supposed to be swallowing his tail? But
So,
in the image, the tail is behind the head.
yeah, so the person I have doing my graphics, she got COVID.
Oh.
Before this application got going, I voiced that it might be a tight turnaround for her.
Okay.
She's a full-time librarian, and then she got COVID, so we are most likely going to eliminate the Ouroboros and the dragons. She was giving me these as a preliminary idea.
Okay.
To like as a placeholder. What you can expect is the first design is more heavily favored, simplified in the brand colors, which are a dark, like a navy blue, white, and like gold, and like a rose pink, but I don't think that's going on the sign. And I don't think that we need to put quite so many esoteric elements on it, but she was working with the ideas that we discussed.
Okay.
So, and there will be an ampersand instead of an and for the logo, that is incorrect. So
Okay.
we will make it look,
All right.
cool. It'll be cool, but not, not too much ornamentation.
Okay. I love your graphics.
Look, don't worry, we'll do some really fun details inside, which will express some of these things.
Amy, when you have that, can you submit that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do we need to take a motion on recommending it?
Why don't we go ahead and do that,
Okay.
just in case it's needed?
Could I have a motion to recommend the approval of the sign permit?
I'll make that.
Thank you, Simon.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Roll call, Board Member Freeman,
In favor?
Board Member Hutchins,
In favor.
Board Member Loparco,
In favor.
Board Member Pensy,
In favor.
Board Member Stout,
In favor?
Grissom,
In favor.
Chairperson Sullivan.
In favor. Before we move on to reviewing the minutes, is there any other new or old business?
Okay. Yes. A lot of what we do is to look at environmental factors concerning the village. And I put together from New York State DEC data a couple of years ago, a series of maps that the information on these maps was created by the Hudson River Estuary. What is it? It's a branch of DEC, the Hudson River Estuary something or other. And Altamont is in the Hudson River Estuary by virtue of it being in the Normanskill drainage. So therefore, we have available to us an enormous amount of information on mapped environmental information about this region. And I took those layers and I made a series of maps about that. And I don't know how to do this, but I think I'd like to share that with the members of the board. Ideally, the way that would be done is if we had a digital projector, and you know, I could project the maps and everybody could see them at the same time. We don't have such a thing. I don't even have a laptop, but I think such a thing could be obtained from the library. They have a library of things where you can check out items, and they do list a digital projector. So if the board wants to, if this is something that people would be interested in seeing, I'd like to show people the maps. Is that, I don't know, how do you feel about that?
It sounds like a really good opportunity to see some information that we might not all
Will
be
this
aware of.
field trip have beverages and?
Well, what I was thinking is doing it here, and and it would be something that there'd be, you know, we could do this publicly, but since it doesn't have, it doesn't pertain to any project, I don't think there would be a problem of not having it open to the public. But again, that's something that, you know, you
Yeah.
can decide.
I would just have Allison or whoever from the attorney's office just run through the idea and just give it their blessing.
The estuaries, though, I can say, working for the town of Gilliland, the water department and whatnot, and have been involved in a lot of locations for building and whatnot, that the estuary actually is, you know, for stormwater, you know, it protects a lot of things, knowing that, because you just can't dump anything down a storm sewer or something like that, you know what I mean? Because it may affect, all that stormwater does go into, you know, where there's fish, environmental, you know, things like that. So it would definitely be a good thing something for the board to know, or at least have access for something like that, for sure.
Well, Allison mentioned it in the training. But unless people take the time to go through it, then, you know, then they don't see it.
And that's another thing too, is a lot of storm sewers and grates and whatnot in Guilderland, from McCownville right over to, you know, just right in Guilderland, are marked. They actually have a marking
Yeah,
on the grates.
yeah. I got from the village a map of all the village storm drains. Well, the map doesn't include the state ones that are along, you know, the state highways.
Right.
But we can see, and I've mapped that, so we can see the extent of the gray infrastructure that the village maintains. the data layers also include a lot of stuff about wildlife, a lot of stuff about stream condition, a lot of stuff about forest quality. So there's a lot of layers there that I think would be helpful for us to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think if we want to plan for that sometime, just, I would email Allison and see if that could be part of our training.
Yes, yeah. And of course, it's all completely relevant
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
village.
Jane, so the training that you're doing now is for 2025. What we're going to do for next year, we're going to Carrie wants it to be at the beginning of the year, just so that everybody's up to speed.
Oh, good.
So maybe that's being included in that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Simon. Everyone received a copy of the minutes from the October 28th meeting. Are there any changes that anyone feels need to be made? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve the minutes as printed?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So roll call, Board Member Freeman,
In favor.
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
Board Member Locarco,
In favor.
Board Member Pinsey,
In favor.
Board Member Trout,
In favor?
Board Member Witham,
In favor.
and Chairperson Sullivan.
In favor.
Thank you.
The next meeting date, if necessary, will be December 16th, which again is a shortened schedule because of the holidays. And the one following that would be January 27th at 2026, if needed. Any materials due for those meetings should be in by 4 p.m. 2 weeks prior to the meeting. And when we get a response from the Albany County Planning Board, we'll contact you and let you know whether anything else needs to be done or you're good to go. Okay? Then could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll motion that. Second.
So, roll call, Board Member Freeman,
In favor.
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
Board Member Locarco,
In favor.
Board Member Pinsey,
In favor.
Board Member Trout,
Yes.
Board Member Witham,
In favor.
and Chairperson Sullivan.
In favor. Thank you very much, everyone.